What if I told you the Golden State Warriors are at a crossroads that could define the future of their franchise? Should they go all in for one last championship run? Or is it time to accept reality and build for the future? Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Steve Kerr have made their stance clear. But is it the right call? Let's break it all down. The Golden State Warriors are in trouble. After years of dominating the league, they now find themselves stuck in the middle. No longer elite, but not bad enough to rebuild completely. And here's the biggest question. Should they make a blockbuster trade to try and compete now? Or do they need to think long-term and hold on to their future assets? This is not just another trade deadline decision. This is about the legacy of the franchise, about the players who built this dynasty, and about the fans who have watched this team rise to greatness. Just recently, the Warriors suffered another tough loss, this time against the Toronto Raptors, a team that had only won one of their last 17 games before facing Golden State. Even with Stephen Curry dropping 26 points, the Warriors still could not close it out. That is the reality of where this team stands right now. After the game, Curry was asked about making a big trade, and his response was crystal clear. Do not panic. He believes the team should not make a desperate move just to chase one last ring. Draymond Green echoed that sentiment, saying that teams that sacrifice their future for short-term success often end up in a worse position. And Steve Kerr, he agrees too. Kerr even compared their situation to what other franchises have gone through. Remember when the Oklahoma City Thunder had their young core with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden? They were the up-and-coming team, just like the Warriors were a decade ago. Now, Golden State is on the other side of that story. They are the aging veterans, trying to squeeze out one more great run before time catches up to them. But here is the harsh reality. The NBA is a young man's game, and the Warriors, they are not that young anymore. Right now, they are barely in the play-in tournament conversation. Their defense has been inconsistent, their bench production has been shaky, and their offense, well, if Stephen Curry is not having a spectacular night, winning becomes a lot harder. So what does this mean moving forward? The front office has a huge decision to make. They could push all their chips in and trade for a star. But if they do that and still fall short, what happens next? What does the future look like without draft picks or young talent? This is exactly what Curry, Green, and Kerr are worried about. If you ask them, the right move is patience. They want to compete now, but not at the cost of sacrificing everything that comes next. And honestly, they might have a point. Look at teams that made desperate trades to chase a championship. How many of them actually worked out? Not many. The Warriors are in an extremely rare position. They have legends who want to win now, but they also want to set up the next generation for success. It is a balancing act, and not an easy one. Think about this. What if the Warriors make a move, but it backfires? They could end up in a worse situation than they are now, stuck in mediocrity without the flexibility to rebuild. On the other hand, if they hold on to their young players and future picks, they might be able to develop the next face of the franchise, ensuring that Golden State stays competitive for years to come. Some fans argue that with Curry still playing at an elite level, the team owes it to him to give him the best chance to win now. After all, how many more years can he continue to perform at this level? His window is closing, and every season that passes without making a serious title run feels like a wasted opportunity. But then there is the other side of the argument. If the Warriors mortgage their future and fail, they could be facing years of irrelevance. No draft picks, no young talent, and a roster filled with aging stars past their prime. We have seen this happen to teams before, and it rarely ends well. And let's not forget, this is not just about the players or the front office. This decision affects the fans too. Warriors fans have been spoiled with success over the last decade. But what happens if the team falls off a cliff? Are fans willing to go through a long rebuild? Or do they want the team to take one last swing for a championship while they still can? This season is already halfway over, and the Warriors are still trying to find their identity. They have had some big wins, but also some devastating losses. The inconsistency is what makes this decision even harder. If they were just a few games better, maybe the choice would be clearer. But right now, they are stuck in the middle, and that is the worst place to be in the NBA. So now I turn it over to you. What should the Warriors do? Should they risk it all for another title run, or should they play it smart and think long-term? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more NBA content. See you in the next one.